Hello, and welcome to the Resume Reader Training for Momentum Education. We're really happy to have you on our team, and we can't wait to get started. So I'm Madeline Cluck, and I'm the Enrichment Coordinator here at Momentum. And before I get started on the training, I just wanted to give a little bit of a background on our organization. So Momentum Education is a nonprofit with intentions of helping low-income Houston area high school students get to and through post-secondary education. And this can mean a trade school, a vocational school, or a 4 or 2-year university degree. And again, before we get started, I just wanted to note that in the email you were sent, there's instructions on how to complete a background check as well as a blank non-disclosure agreement. And so once you're done with this training, please follow those instructions on the background check. And once you've gotten your confirmation that you've passed the background check, please email us back confirming that you've passed the background check as well as giving us your filled out non-disclosure agreement. And with that being said, I will get started with the training. So first we're going to go over a few expectations and logistics for the program. The first expectation being that when you are assigned a resume, you provide feedback and return it within 5 days so that students have enough time to make changes to the resume before they turn it in. And the reason for this quick turnaround is just because most of these programs are time sensitive in nature, like college applications, scholarship applications, and we want to make sure that the students have enough time to make changes before they need to submit. And then in terms of logistics, when you are assigned a resume, we will send you an email as well as a text on the same day to let you know that you've received an assignment. So we just ask whenever you receive that text that you confirm that you'll be able to finish it in the given time frame within 1 to 2 days. And then once you've confirmed that you'll be able to finish it, I will send you a reminder text on the 3rd day, just as a friendly reminder that you need to get it completed in the 5-day time frame. And once you have finished editing the resume, please reply to the email as well as text me that you've finished so that I know as soon as I can and I can quickly send it back to the student for them to make the changes you suggest. And lastly, please just communicate with us if you are no longer able to edit a resume or can no longer participate in the program. We understand things come up and things can get really busy, but we just want to make sure that all of these students receive their resumes on time. So if you can't finish one, it's okay. Just let us know as soon as possible so that we can give it to another reader and give it back to the student in the given time frame. So 2 of our core values here at Momentum are integrity and students first. And so in the name of integrity and students first, we ask that you please do not rewrite any of the students' resumes. One, because it would not be honest for them to turn in a resume that they have not written themselves, and then also because it will not benefit them for us to write their resumes for them, because they'll have to write resumes for the rest of their lives, and we really want this to be a learning experience for them in its entirety. And with that all being said, it is okay to change the format of the resume because we know that there are specific formats that programs like. And so if you need to move words around on the page or change the bolding or underlining, it is okay to do that. Please just make sure that you're not altering any of their words so that we can keep the resume accurate to what the student has said. And again, just to reiterate, please only make formatting changes and do not make any actual changes to the student's words. All right, and so just to give you an insight on what formatting and leaving suggestions looks like, so that you're not changing the words, I will go through how you can simply make comments or leave suggestions on Google Docs. So in the left picture, you will see the drop-down menu of how to change the mode on Google Docs. So the editing button is in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and you should be able to pull down a menu and change the mode to suggesting. And so we ask that you do this whenever you are trying to change like punctuation or capitalization on the student's resume so that you can make suggestions but without actually changing the words of the students, and they can decide whether or not they want to keep your suggestions. And then in the second picture on the right, you will see how you can leave comments on the student's resume. And so this will be really where the bulk of your feedback will come in, because all you need to do is highlight what you want to talk about in the resume, and then click the little circle off to the side and leave a comment giving feedback on the student's resume. And so this can be feedback in the form of like ideas for the students to add, questions you might have about the resume, or just really anything else. This will really be the bulk of your feedback. And just a side note, please make sure to press comment whenever you do make these comments, just so that the comment is saved into the document and the students are able to read all of your feedback. All right, so next we're going to go over some general high school resume guidelines. So first of all, these resumes should really be concise. They should not really be any longer than 1 to 2 pages in length. And so students should use really precise language on their resume and only focus on the important activities that they were involved in, and make sure to focus on like depth of involvement in activities rather than including every single thing that they've ever done. If something's not relevant towards college, it's not really necessary to include. Just make sure that these resumes show that they are well-rounded and are also fitting into a limit of 1 to 2 pages. And then also formatting is also really important in resumes. So make sure that the students are using 1-inch margins, a clean font such as Georgia, Times New Roman, or really any other serif fonts. And then also that they have clear headings to direct the reader on what to pay attention to in their resume. So as far as the resume sections go, here's a list of sections that students can include in their resumes. It's not necessary to include all of these sections, and if one of them is not relevant to the student's extracurriculars or interests, definitely do not include it, but these are some suggestions that students can use and include on their resume. So first of all students should really include their information at the top of their resume. They should put their name, their phone number, their email address, their mailing address, and then any online presence that they want to show in their resume right here, just so that the office, whoever's reading their resume has information on how to contact them afterwards. And then next, the students should include information about their education. So this could be their high school, their GPA, any relevant coursework such as computer science or any other coursework that's relevant for what they're applying to. And then a next section might be research or an internship. And so this is one of those really optional sections. If a student doesn't have anything in research or an internship, then they probably shouldn't include this section, but it can be really helpful to include if the student does have experience. And then the next section, students can list their extracurricular activities. So this will probably be mostly made up of clubs and sports, but it can include other things as well. Just make sure they're really relevant to what the student has done over the course of high school and have really been important for the student. And here it's also important for the student to include any officer positions they might have held, just to show depth of involvement in each of these activities. And then next on the resume, the student should include any volunteer or community service and also list the amount of time they spend doing that community service per week, just to give an idea of how involved they are in the program. And then next, students should include any professional or work experiences. So this will probably be mostly summer jobs or in-school jobs. But it's also really helpful for the student to include to show that they've been using their time as wisely as they can. And then another section that students can include are awards and honors. So this can mean any awards that they've received for a project or for writing or anything that they've done during high school. Please make sure that the student's not including anything before high school, because most of these applications are only looking for the student's high school accomplishments. And then next, students can also include a section about relevant skills. So this can mean skills in languages or computer skills. Just make sure the student has included their level of mastery in each of these skills. And then one last section that students can add are relevant hobbies. And so these can be hobbies that are relevant for what they're applying to, like photography, or they can be other hobbies like fishing or bowling or something that they're really interested in and might not appear anywhere else on their application if it makes them seem like a more rounded or interesting applicant. So some other things to keep in mind when reading those resumes are, first, whenever you're reading through the activities that the students have listed, make sure that they're focusing on the length and depth of their commitment, and that's a lot more important than including a lot of activities. So if a student has 2 or 3 really strong activities that they've been involved in, that will be a much stronger resume than somebody who has 8 to 10 activities that they're only lightly involved in. And another thing that can be helpful on a resume is to use reverse chronological order and to take into consideration time commitment and order of importance. So what this means is that students should put what they've been involved with most recently first, and they should really prioritize what has been most impactful on their high school experience in the order that they list their activities. Another thing to keep in mind is that students should really make the most of bullet points. And in these bullet points, they should use an active voice. So they should really be using action verbs in their resume and showing what they have done for the program and not necessarily what the program does. So for example, a student should include something like they raised $1,200 for the Interact Club to provide its members buses to service events because it includes a combination of an active verb, a core content, and a result, a purpose, or an impact. And so all of the bullet points should be formatted in this general format just so that it shows what the student has actually contributed to the activity that they're talking about. And some other things to keep in mind is that these resumes are slightly different than resumes that you would turn in for a job application. So these students do not need to include objectives or references in their resume because, well, the objective is pretty obvious because they're applying for a specific program, and so the objective would be the same for all students applying to the program. And then references are included in other aspects of the application, so there's really no need for them to include that in the resume. And lastly, please be sure that the student is not including anything unrealistic in their resume. This especially comes up in the time commitment that they list on the resume. If they include a time commitment that exceeds the number of hours in a week, that's obviously impossible, and whoever's reading their resume will see right through it. So make sure whatever they're saying is being realistic and is really honest to what they have done in high school. And it's also okay to take out information that does not help the student. So if you notice that they have included too much information, you should definitely make note of that and suggest that they take it out of their resume because it can be really beneficial for the student to be a lot more concise in their resume. All right, so that just about wraps up our training. Just to finish off, I wanted to go over a few more things in the email that you were sent. So first of all of my contact information is in that email. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me either through text or through email, and I will get back to you and help you address those comments or concerns. And then also in that email, you will see that there is a guidebook on resume reading. Please use that as a reference as you're reading these students' resumes. It has all the information that we went over in today's training, as well as some additional advice that you can use while reading the resumes. And then lastly, in that email, there is information about how to complete a background check for HISD. Please follow that set of instructions, and then once you get a confirmation that you've passed the background check, please just send me an email confirming that you've passed the background check, as well as giving me a signed non-disclosure agreement. And once we get those both on file, we can start assigning you resumes for you to read for the students. We will also be adding you to a GroupMe right after you have everything filled out so that you can get in direct communication with other resume readers as well as myself and get really quick feedback or on any questions you might have, or ask if another reader would want to look at a resume you're looking at if you think that you need another set of eyes. So GroupMe is a platform where we can have a group message without sharing anybody's personal contact information. So nobody else will have access to your phone number or your email. They will just be able to see your name and your profile picture. However, if you're uncomfortable being in the GroupMe, you can always leave. We're just adding you so that you have a way to be in direct contact with other resume readers. And so that is the end. I just wanted to do a quick reminder. Please fill out the background check and the non-disclosure agreement and let me know when you have both of those done. And then we will assign you some resumes to read. Then yeah, thank you so much for watching the training. I look forward to working with everybody.